marketing, entrepreneurship, and all things small business. You're listening to the Jurassic Marketing's Triceratops. Now, here's your host, Justin Miller.
Right. I think this episode of the podcast falls in the all things small business.
Sure. Oh, yeah, totally.
We're going to go off on a sports tangent a little bit. So the loyal listeners, and we appreciate all three of you, know that, are we 2 years out now?
Yeah,
A couple of years ago, I was moonlighting doing sports writing, following around the Iowa Hawkeyes women basketball with Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was traveling with Kevin doing that for fun. It was a time-consuming hobby, by the way.
It is kind of time-consuming.
It was a lot of fun, though. And then, as you all know, Caitlin plays for the Indiana Fever in WNBA now.
Mm-hmm.
And she got injured.
She did.
Are we like about 2 months after that? Maybe somewhere in there? Maybe a little more?
Yeah. She played in 13 games this year out of 44.
Woo.
Yeah.
And we're in the playoffs now, right?
Playoffs, they are in the second round.
Yeah. So I'm asking you all this because I stopped watching.
As of the recording date, they're in the second round. So this is we're almost into October. So by the time this is out, I'm sure they'll have won the WNBA championshot.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not
is that what your DraftKings account says?
I stopped doing any kind, even the $5 bets. I'm like, it got way too frustrating.
How do we get the sponsorship money for the podcast? You look into that for me. Okay?
I will. That's brought to you by
No, but seriously, I'm asking you because the only way I follow now is through the news and hearsay. So,
did you give up watching like game by game?
Yep, I tuned out a little bit.
Was it because they were losing or because she was not playing?
Not playing.
Because they immediately started losing, and she wasn't the only person. They've had 6 starters that have serious injuries or season-ending injuries this year.
Yeah, I tuned in and watched a lot of the games like in her first season there.
Yeah,
and then I probably slowly dragged. There's a lot of games. Like there's a lot of games in the season, so I slowly started missing them. And then since she's been injured, I don't think I've seen any of them.
Okay.
Which is interesting because we saw a lot of them damn things together.
It's true.
But I can't be alone.
No.
Now, there are a lot of viewers and a lot of friends and acquaintances I have that are now loyal Indiana Fever fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're wearing the Hawkeyes thing there. So.
Yeah.
And they continue to watch despite her. And I find this interesting. Not this is a bad thing at all. That just shows I was on the bandwagon a little bit. But the connection I had was a little more putting it together Midwest with the Hawkeyes and that connection. And that switched then, obviously.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I don't know any of the other players. And I got to know a few of them as they went through the season. And you get like the stories, around like Cunningham and Lexi Hull and stuff. And we saw them when they played at Carver in Iowa.
That's right. Yeah.
But that was pretty much it for me. And it's not to say I won't tune in again. It's just that there's a lot of things competing for attention. And that one fell down on priority list. And part of it was, the star that had a connection tied to my experience was gone. Now you continue to follow.
I do. I did slack off quite a bit once she was hurt because she got hurt twice. She got hurt, came back, played a couple games, got hurt immediately again, and then stopped playing. I did kind of slack off where I wouldn't watch games live. I would be like, oh, they played 2 games. I'd go into the app and I'd watch them. I got irritated because they started losing. But then I came back about halfway through the season, right before Sophie Cunningham got hurt again. It's interesting because I also now am watching other WNBA teams. Yeah. I would in a million years never thought that I would still care about other women's basketball, but I got into some of the storylines, some of the player storylines.
Which I did out the gate. Like, I watched, Kate Martin play several of those games.
I did follow her this year with the Valkyries because she's no longer in Vegas. Not as intently as I would have liked to. I only went to 1 game in person this year versus last year where I went to 7 or 8 Fever games.
And I've watched a couple with Paige Becker since she's been in there.
Yes.
But again, it's all tying back to these are the people we saw
Mm-hmm.
during.
Well, and you think about that when we went and covered the Final Four, Caitlin's senior year, we watched Paige Becker's player when they played Connecticut. So it is one of those things where there are certain names that, and you can point to, I don't have them pulled up, but WNBA TV viewership went down 40% when Caitlin Clark got injured. It's back up significantly higher now during the playoffs, oddly enough. Suddenly everyone's a W fan again. But even if they're down 25% at this point, they're up 400% from 3 years ago. So they're still killing it.
Yeah. And that's really the point I was getting to. And there is a business angle on this. So thanks for hanging in there. Although we will talk more about the sports. So I was listening to a podcast, and I can't remember whose podcast it was, but Dave Ramsey released the episode as a special edition on his EntreLeadership podcast. And it was him and John Maxwell was in there and a couple others, and I feel really bad. I don't care about them, but it's not relevant to this point. And they were talking about, it wasn't the main point of it, but as an aside, they were talking about A players. A player team members.
Yeah.
And sports isn't always a perfect analogy for business. I don't buy into like the star player gets to make all the rules and stuff. Like in sports a little, you know, you and I both know like the coaches are like, well, it's Caitlin Clark. You got to let her take these ridiculous shots.
Sure.
Like, I don't think that necessarily applies to business. I think, you know, the culture overall is more important. You still have to perform, obviously, but you can't switch everything to the star. In this case of athletics, like she owns the league, basically. I mean,
she does, and people.
A lot of people are going to be offended. I said that.
People. That's what I mean. But she does. She is the face of the WNBA. The numbers don't lie. The viewership and amount of merch being sold and jerseys, those things went nuts when she came into the league. And when she was injured, those things dramatically went backwards. Granted, the league finally was able to make some inroads around Paige Beckers and some other things, and there's some good stories there. But yeah, it is. And it was always interesting to me, the backlash from players who evidently were jealous, like they didn't see it coming when they knew she was coming to the league. Like she took over, and the thing is, she wasn't like.
I think that helped, by the way.
It probably it helped the storyline be more edgy, you know. You're telling me that you think that's an inside job? The W.
No, I don't. I don't think it was necessarily intentional, but I think it helped. And you got the whole Angel Reese storyline, which I believe it is probably tough for Angel Reese. But now the characters are established.
Well, but the storyline for that has almost become secondary because Chicago is so awful that no one cares about Angel Reese much anymore.
Well, she still has a fan base.
She does, but what people seem to care most about is like dumping on Angel Reese. If they're not a huge fan, So I mean, but you're right. I mean, I think in a year from now, Paige Beckers is going to be a much bigger star than Angel Reese is ever going to be, and those will start going down. If Chicago was more competitive, like you obviously can tell.
I wouldn't even be. I wouldn't know that name.
No, you're right.
Was it not for Clark?
That's true.
The little CFIT fighting.
No, that's true. The little ring thing. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Yeah, the whole. Yeah. I mean, it's like you should have a dinosaur doing that. That would be great.
No, we're not going to do that.
I'm amazed at how much the league, after she got hurt this year, kind of held it together. And viewership is down, but it's not down incredibly. I don't think anyone can say she's not the face of the league, and she drives revenue. So
let's say she never comes back to play.
They're still going to be 50, 80% better for 4 or 5 years than they ever were without her.
And that was the point of
how do you
of Maxwell. So the point was, someone asked about. What if I get an A player and they leave?
Yep. Did they leave you in a better spot than you were in before they came?
Yeah,
I would think so.
That was his point. Was I'd rather have 2 years with an A player than 20 with a C player.
Yeah.
But small business owners, like, you get that logically, right? But small business owners, like, we don't want people to leave. Like, we think that they, hopefully they buy into the vision and they're there on a mission. But guess what? Their life path may go elsewhere as well. So I'm not sure that tenure, it's an important metric, but probably not as much as emotionally a business owner feels.
Oh, totally. If an A player leaves, I think a business owner is so tied to it, they might not be able to even see how much better their business is for the 2 years they had that person. All they're going to think of is, well, now we're doomed.
Oh, there's going to be some ripple for sure.
But that's what I mean.
So yeah, WNBA, like, yeah, if she's not there, I probably watch 4 games a year at that point.
Yep. More so when you happen across them.
It's 4 more than I'd watched before. And there's a lot of people that are going to still watch every game of the teams they become fans of.
Mm-hmm.
So, think star sales rep.
Yeah.
Has all these accounts that love them. They move on for one reason or another. Hopefully they didn't do something to get terminated, but it doesn't matter. They're no longer with the company. Mm-hmm. What happens? Hopefully the business has built up enough relationships that they're going to keep those and you're still in a better spot. You're going to lose some accounts.
Yeah.
Especially if they go to a competitor and they're selling the same services.
Against you. Yeah.
But are we better for them having been there for the time they were there?
If they're really that much of an A player, the answer has to be yes.
Yeah, but it's not going to feel that way when it happens.
No, that's what I mean. You're not. How do you, but as an owner then,
But on the flip side too, I think we keep and tolerate B and C players longer than we should because of the opposite emotion. Like we want the big happy business family. We want them tied in. Like this
and somehow we think we can get them to be an A player.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
That's a different category. That's a potential.
Well, but dive into the ABC. To me, as a small business owner, either you can do it or you can't. I guess I've never categorized it at ABC. But is it a thing where if you're a C player, can you even become an A player?
Probably not. No.
Yeah. If you're a B player, is it just the right environment? Or, are A players in and of themselves?
All we really want is A and A potential.
Yes.
It doesn't mean everyone's going to be that. You might have some solid B players, and that is what it is if they fit in where you need them and they fit the culture and everything. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got to be a cultural fit, or you're going to be running a circus before you know it. But people are going to come and go.
Yeah.
Like going back to the business that you purchased from me, which most of the staff there was part-time. The event business, by its very nature, the vast majority are part-time. There are some full-time people that keep the companies going. And then there's like the massive force that comes in on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was over 100 heads through those doors.
In what?
It was
a decade?
It was very close.
That's crazy. And I have maybe had 20 in the almost 8 years I've owned it.
Yeah, and I don't remember them all.
How could you? You probably remember the ones that were trouble, or the ones that were really, really good, and the ones that were really, really not good.
I remember the ones that left in a dramatic fashion, which thankfully I can count on one hand, even after 10, 20 years in that business. And I do. I remember the ones that became key, and they were those A players, and they left us in a better spot despite having different ambitions.
Yeah.
And it's really tough to look at a job and say, this is a stepping stone for someone, and that might be okay.
Sure.
I want someone that's going to come in, be an A player, grow themselves, grow the company with it, and continue to grow in importance. And it's just not in the cards for everyone or every position.
True. Yeah, every position doesn't, sometimes it's just not going to work. I've had some of those 20 or so people that I've hired since I bought your business have gone on to open their own businesses.
Oh yeah.
Like, what am I going to do? Be like, you can't do that? No, it's like, I'm sad you're leaving, but in a way, I'm happy for you that you're going to go out and take on all of the responsibilities that I've done and be crazy and all that. But it's like, sometimes you're just like, all right, more power to you.
Well, yeah. And if I'm being honest and, we lose an A player, yeah, that hurts. Also, if I'm being honest in recruiting and hiring, I like to think that I've become a more mature business leader. But if I see this pattern of job moves every 2 or 3 years, it's tough to wrap my head around that actually might be an A player and that 2 years might be worth it. It's tough to wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
Because you want someone that's going to buy into the dream and the vision and the mission and, just be side by side with you and realizing that I mean, you have the data there that this is probably going to part ways at some point.
Which is interesting because the flip side for me, because I have a couple small businesses and none of them together, and none of them individually make me enough money to like make a living. So for me, I'm not sure I wouldn't be okay with a super A player knowing I'm only going to have him for a couple of years. Maybe it's a DJ who's in college because you're going to really help me raise that boat for 2 years and then we'll come back to somewhat normal. So, but you're right. If they were a full-time person, like for me, I think maybe I could have that. And I've seen it where it doesn't kill my business. But I can see in your spot, if you had someone in operations or whatever that was this A player and they leave, it's going to be really hard to think about how great you have it now since when they got there. Because now you're like, what am I going to do?
Well, even in that business, it was tough. So yeah, there was a natural progression and there was a predominant age of someone that was late high school or college and, geographic and career-wise, the part-time job was going to get the boot eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a tendency to want to hold on to that person as long as possible.
Sure.
And, we can bribe them with more money.
Yep.
And, we did have people that were traveling hours to come work for us. And, there was a tendency to do that. So I certainly fought against the tendency for them to, quote, graduate out, if you will.
Sure.
Well, and they made good money, but at a certain point,
but at a certain point, no matter how much you pay them, they're not going to do it. I've learned that too. Like at some point, you're like, no, I've graduated. I'm going to go get a real job now. I can't DJ for you on the weekends. Or whatever it is.
And then you find your A player that has their real job and this fits into it.
True. Those are my A players now, and I don't have to rely on them. I'm not their only source of income, so I don't have to worry about them. They're not going to Kohl's to work the holidays, So
they're going to the USPS to get that holiday money.
That's true. They are. Because it gets busy. It gets busy at the end of the year, from what I hear.
That's what I hear. Believe it or not, they work 7 days a week at the post office.
They work hard. Street. They're always working. The lights are on.
We closed, but they're working back there.
That's right. The lights are on back there. Yeah.
I don't know. Postal holiday.
So do you think then with the WNBA, if Caitlin Clark never comes back, the league is better off than they were before?
I believe it is. I believe it will hurt, and they probably haven't accounted for that in their growth plans right now.
I don't even know if they have. I mean, they're expanding. They have to have a growth plan, but it was such a wild card with her. It got so big so fast.
Well, yeah, you want to jump on the opportunity as aggressively as possible while minimizing risks. And I'm sure they're having these discussions behind closed doors.
Yeah.
The minimizing risks is tough, but that's someone like the salary discussion stuff.
Absolutely. The millions and hundreds of millions of dollars now coming into the league through jersey sales and everything else, but yet players are making $77,000 a year to play basketball.
And where did that land? Do you know? Because I didn't follow it all the way.
It still hasn't happened. It'll happen at the so of all things, there could be a WNBA strike. This is not like baseball or the NBA. It's like it's going to get settled because if there's no WNBA next year, then there's no revenue.
I mean, the league would probably fold, right?
The league would fold if you close down for 6 months. I mean, these players are still playing overseas off season to supplement their income. But the difference is next year, the Angel Reeses and the Caitlin Clarks are going to want to get paid $1 million a year instead of $100,000.
Yeah,
but I don't want to pay for the extra tickets. I'm already paying a ton for my season tickets. I don't want to,
Well, they're having to weigh, are we trying to catch lightning in a bottle? Is this a flash in a pan? Or is this a sustainable business growth?
There's only so much growth with. I mean,
I don't know.
As high as her star goes, even if she plays for 10 or 12 years, the league could become hugely successful, but they got to spread some of that money around. And then when you realize that most of the WNBA teams are owned by NBA owners who are making so much money on the men's game, the women's game is like, well, if we have to give it to them, we will.
Well, the women think that the negotiations from the headlines I've read think that somehow factors into what they make. And
I'm sure
to me is irrelevant to the discussion.
Well,
you're your own thing.
You are your own thing. And if the revenue's there, though, but if you're going to pay some guy that you own the Pacers and you're going to pay him $5 million a year and your revenue, I mean, the Indiana Fever are probably
they have to make that they have to make the argument that they provide the value, not that I can't succeed by saying, oh, you pay that guy that much.
No, I think that what they're going to say is percentage of revenue is what they want. They want a higher percentage of the revenue for salary because the Fever are probably the only WNBA team who actually bring in a mountain of revenue.
Well, that's a challenge for the rest of the league then, right?
I mean, Golden State does. They sold out this year, but it's like it is. You You're going.
So if they allow them to pay whatever, then we got like Moneyball going on, don't we?
Some of it will come from
the Fever.
Well,
just
there's
buy whatever they want.
There'll be a new TV contract, so a lot of it will come from ESPN and ABC, and so I mean it's. But you're right. Either way, no matter what happens, they're not talking about any of these things if Caitlin Clark wasn't there. And then people are going to send your hate mail too. But it's like, how many people that love? I'm talking to you.
I'm retired from this.
You're like, how many people that follow the WNBA now or any team followed it 5 years ago or 4 years ago or 3 years ago? If you were a fan then, you're a fan now. You've always been a fan.
No, the league has had like a complete image overhaul.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, and attendance has like 10 times over. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, and yeah, it's people on the bandwagon.
There are a lot of people
guilty as charged.
Well,
but guess what? The bandwagon's a business.
It's a business. The Hawkeye gear, the 22 jerseys. It is a business, and that's great. But how long can you sustain that if you don't bring in other stars?
I don't know. What they need more A players, right?
I think you do. I think, or is Caitlin Clark such an A+ player?
An anomaly for
that
sure.
She's an anomaly that for how many 4, 5, 10 years because I could see.
And hold on, it's not 100% like her ability. She's an amazing player, and she is top there as well. But there's also this aura that has.
There is the aura that became who she is. Is she the greatest player ever? Probably not. Maybe, but
I mean, we were trying to figure out: is this going to be the female Michael Jordan?
Yeah, I think she could be if she stays healthy. But
which is the aura. It's not like, oh, this is the best player in the league.
It's the aura. Exactly right. And
when they lose that, now we're just back to a good entertaining.
Well,
league.
look at Nike and the places that she makes her real money have marketed the hell out of her since she got hurt because they don't want to lose that image. They want to make their money back. I think she is such an anomaly. She could carry the league. They could have less A players. A players meaning like aura and reach. But there's no doubt about it.
We'll call them celebrity players.
Celebrity players. The league has raised its profile so much higher with her that even now, if she's never plays again, the league's in a better place. Period. How long that'll last, I don't know. Probably longer than your Starbucks over there.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. I guess that means the episode has to wrap.
It's over. It's over. Look at that.
But yeah, I mean, bottom line though, will a star leave you in a better spot than you started? Yes. Will it hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Should that prevent you from bringing them in? Probably not.
No, I don't see why not, unless they torch the place on the way out, which I can't imagine an A player is going to do anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they would have got to where they are.
To where they're at.
But sometimes it looks that way on the resume.
Oh, sure. Is that because, like you had said earlier, if they move every 2 years, you might think they're trouble, when in reality, they're just looking for growth.
Yeah, if I see someone every 2 years on the resume, I'm thinking, best case scenario, I got 2 years. How long does it take to get them up to speed? What's that look like? Knowing I'm going to have to replace them in 2 years. I mean, there's a lot that comes along with that. But at the end of the day, if it's the right person, it's the right person. And hopefully we've had enough business spin on this topic that both sports enthusiasts are, mad at our assessment and the business owners.
We should have been wearing 22 jerseys today. We should have planned that out better and had Caitlin Clark gear on today.
Yeah, we could have her as an AI guest.
We probably could,
but I digress. Hopefully you got a business lesson out of there. As always, any topics for podcasts, let us know. And if you want to join us, email Justin at JurassicMarketing.com. We'll get you on if appropriate, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Triceratops podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave your comments. For more information on how Jurassic Marketing Direct Mail can help grow your business, visit JurassicMarketing.com.